The tragic story of the Olsen twins is far more heartbreaking than you might think. Behind their rise to fame lies a hidden world of overwhelming pressure, intense media scrutiny, and personal struggles that pushed them to the brink. From dealing with shocking exploitation as children to facing a mysterious connection to Heath Ledger's death, the twins' journey is filled with dark secrets. But there's one specific incident involving a terrifying invasion of their privacy that changed everything for them. Before we get to that, let's look at how their journey into the spotlight began. Born on June 13, 1986, in Sherman Oaks, California, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen entered the entertainment world at just 6 months old. Cast in the hit television series Full House in 1987, the two sisters played the same character of Michelle Tanner, alternating between tapings to comply with child labor laws that limit the hours young actors can work. In the early seasons, there was an effort to keep the fact that the role was played by twins a secret by the producer. To achieve this, they were originally credited as Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen. However, in the last season and most of season 1, they were credited separately. For the first year, Ashley would cry when she was brought on set to do a scene, so Mary-Kate ended up having more screen time early on. Speaking on this during a recent podcast interview, one of the twins' co-stars on the show, John Stamos, admitted that he briefly had the twins fired when they were babies. They were 11 months old and God bless them. The producers kept switching, "This one's not gonna cry." I couldn't deal with it, and I said, "This is not gonna work." And so they got rid of them, Stamos told the podcast hosts. However, their departure was short-lived, as their replacements didn't work out, leading to the Olsens being brought back to the show. "It was only a few days and I said, 'Bring the Olsens back, these kids are terrible,'" Stamos added. From then, their acting careers took off, and the twins co-starred in popular films geared towards children. Following Full House, they starred in films such as Two of a Kind, So Little Time, Holiday in the Sun, and New York Minute. With their newfound fame, the twins' management team, led by Robert Thorne, helped establish Dual Star Entertainment in 1993, turning them into a major brand. By the age of 10, Mary-Kate and Ashley were self-made millionaires, launching a series of direct-to-video films and merchandise that capitalized on their popularity. However, as they reached their late teens, the twins made the surprising decision to step away from acting. They even turned down the opportunity to appear in Fuller House, the spin-off of the beloved sitcom Full House that made them household names when it ran from 2016 to 2020. Rumors swirled about their reasons. Some speculated burnout, others pointed to personal struggles, but the Olsen twins remained focused on their next big move: business. The shift to business. Leaving Hollywood behind, the Olsen twins redirected their talents towards the fashion industry. They began their transition into the fashion industry in 2004, while still teenagers. That year, they launched a clothing line for girls aged 4 to 14 in collaboration with Walmart, under their joint-owned fashion and entertainment company, Dual Star. The line, known as the Mary-Kate and Ashley collection, became a hit, offering styles that captured iconic 2000s trends such as capri and cargo pants. In 2006, the Olsen twins founded The Row, which quickly gained recognition as one of New York's most high-profile young brands, according to the Business of Fashion. The brand offers more than just clothing, expanding into accessories like eyewear, purses, and footwear, all adhering to the same minimalist yet luxurious approach. In a 2021 interview with ID, Mary-Kate Olsen explained the intentions behind The Row, emphasizing their commitment to ease, comfort, and inclusivity. It had to be easy. It had to be comfortable on all bodies. It had to have all the elements that we continue to put into our projects and design. The fabrics had to be luxurious and perfect, and hopefully have longevity, she said. By 2019, the Business of Fashion reported that The Row was generating between $100 million and $200 million in annual sales. Despite their fame, the twins have consistently been reluctant to become the faces of their brand. "We didn't want to be in front of it. We didn't necessarily even want to let people know it was us. It was really about the product, to the point where we were like, who could we get to front this so that we don't have to?" Ashley told ID in the same interview, with Mary-Kate calling herself and her sister discreet people. In a profile on the twins in 2019, Olivia Singer of British Vogue discussed the clothing line's uniquely discreet branding. It determinedly shies away from the press. It never advertises, the Olsens themselves rarely grant interviews, and this season it didn't even hold a fashion show. Instead, a dozen rails of particularly lovely garments were quietly presented in its New York studio, Singer wrote. In 2007, the Olsen twins founded a second line, Elizabeth and James, named after two of their siblings. Their sister Elizabeth has a successful acting career and is perhaps best known for her role as Wanda Maximoff, also known as Scarlet Witch in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Their brother, James, who goes by his middle name Trent, works in movie production and is a comic book writer. The company sold sunglasses, jewelry, and bags, and expanded its reach in 2019 by partnering with Kohl's, where their products were sold exclusively. In 2009, the Olsen twins launched another fashion brand called Olsen Boye, which was aimed at teens and tweens. The line was sold exclusively at JCPenney and was named after the Norwegian version of their last name, as a tribute to their family heritage. In a 2019 interview with Vogue, the twins eventually opened up about their decision to leave acting behind and focus on fashion. "We've been there, we've done that, we started that way. But this is the way we chose to move forward in our lives. To not be in the spotlight, to have something that speaks for itself," Mary-Kate said. Jodie Sweetin, who played Stephanie Tanner on Full House, also discussed the Olsen twins' decision to leave acting behind in a 2022 appearance on the podcast Off the Vine. "It wasn't like anything bad ever happened," Sweetin said. "It was just, they were 8 years old when the show stopped. So, their whole life existed after." "For me, I was 5 to 13. That was like my formative years, my middle school, my elementary school. Like that was it. That was my growing up. For them, they barely were in, first grade, and they were, done," she continued. Personal struggles. Behind the scenes. While the Olsens' private lives continue to baffle fans, perhaps the twins' super reclusive lifestyle is a response to the relentless media scrutiny they've faced for most of their lives. From the moment they were born, Mary-Kate and Ashley were thrust into the spotlight without much say in the matter. By the time they were just 7 years old, they had already become millionaires, a feat that came with its own set of challenges. The twins never had a chance to be normal children, no matter how much they said they were in interviews. In a 2010 interview with Marie Claire, Mary-Kate admitted that she and her sister felt like little monkey performers. She reflected, "I look at old photos of me, and I don't feel connected to them at all. I would never wish my upbringing on anyone." Her remarks shocked fans, who now saw their warm feelings of childhood nostalgia taunted by an underlying darkness. In fact, once you look back on old interviews and read between the lines, you start to see that the twins' seemingly perfect career wasn't always so perfect. Their early interviews are very awkward. Typically, child stars are chatty, charismatic, and possess the characteristics needed to shine in front of the camera. However, the Olsen twins don't naturally exhibit any of these traits. If you watch their old interviews, it becomes clear that the twins have never really been comfortable with fame. They often appear terribly shy. In one particular interview, after Kathy Lee Gifford unsuccessfully tries to coax the twins into offering more than one-word responses, she looks out into the crowd and remarks, almost with annoyance, "They're just normal kids, folks." The Olsen twins' parents divorced when they were just 9 years old. According to Lifetime's controversial film, The Unauthorized Full House Story, the divorce was allegedly influenced by the mounting pressures of the twins' careers, with one parent wishing for the girls to have a normal life. However, many cast members from the original Full House have publicly denounced the film, questioning its accuracy and motives. Regardless of the true circumstances surrounding the divorce is never easy for children, and if it was caused by the twins' success, it makes sense why they'd hate it even more. While it may have seemed like the best job ever, the Olsen twins were often overworked and frequently missed their friends back home. After Full House, they released an arsenal of successful straight-to-video movies set in exotic locales like Paris and Hawaii. However, behind the glamorous facade, they struggled with the reality of their demanding schedules. Their father, Dave Olsen, acknowledged this in 2001, stating, The other siblings may feel that the twins get to travel a little more. But on the other side, sometimes the girls miss being away from their friends for a month. The twins also expressed their frustrations about their busy schedules. In a 2000 profile, they voiced their concerns to their lawyer, Robert Thorne, about being booked for too many interviews in a single day, especially when they had school assignments due the next day. 12 is too many, Robert, Ashley complained. Yet, despite their reservations, they did the interviews anyway. The experiences of the Olsen twins influenced their younger sister, Elizabeth, who decided to step back from acting as a child. Although Elizabeth is now a successful actress in her own right, back in the early 2000s, she was merely a 10-year-old appearing in her famous sister's films. Having witnessed the hardships that Mary-Kate and Ashley faced, particularly the intense media scrutiny that came with their fame as teenagers, Elizabeth made a conscious choice to prioritize her education over a career in acting at that young age. Reflecting on her decision, she said, "My sister's fame made me more determined to study. I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I also didn't want to start working when I was under 18. As the Olsen twins transitioned from shy toddlers to fashionable teenagers, the media's focus on them intensified, often veering into deeply unsettling territory. It became particularly creepy when someone created a countdown clock to their 18th birthday, which would make them legal, aka able to consent to sex. The countdown was followed by pedophilic comments, showing how devastating it must have been for the Olsen twins. Rolling Stone once creepily called them America's favorite fantasy. When an interviewer asked about their virginity in 2003, Ashley had enough. "I got really angry and defensive," she recalled. "I was like, that's personal. Why would you be asking a 16-year-old that question in the first place?" Ashley also faced the invasion of privacy that came with being in the public eye, particularly when paparazzi published bikini photos of her. She described the experience as my worst nightmare, revealing the emotional toll it took on her. "I was crying hysterically," she admitted. The desire for normalcy has always been a dream for the Olsen twins. Since they were around 10 years old, they longed to attend New York University, NYU. However, when they finally enrolled in 2004, it sparked a media frenzy that made achieving that dream nearly impossible. The twins quickly found that their presence created a chaotic environment wherever they went. They were unable to stay in regular dorms, constantly facing the invasive eyes of fellow students who often acted as unwitting paparazzi. Some of these students even interned at gossip magazines, turning their academic pursuits into feeds for their readers. "Learning is not fun if you're not safe," Ashley lamented at the time. The relentless media attention started to get to them. When the twins were on the cover of every gossip magazine, they didn't appreciate it in the slightest, and saw it as a direct hit to their companies and brands. "Those articles are sold in Walmart, where our fans shop," Mary-Kate expressed in 2004. "Do you know how much responsibility that puts on me for something I didn't do?" By 2008, the Olsen twins were already showing signs of their growing weariness with the media. While they still give interviews occasionally to promote their fashion brands, they've adopted a much more private and reclusive lifestyle. Mary-Kate hinted at the reason for this shift in a 2008 interview, saying, "It's weird to be called a celebrity or talk about it. It's not a part of my life. It's a media perception of who I am." She elaborated on the toll of constantly being in the public eye. "To be written about, that aspect, I don't think anybody should have to live that way when people are trying to pry into your life. You give, you give, you give. You talk, you talk, you talk. And at a certain point you start to keep your mouth shut, and then people freak out about that." Struggles with identity and health. Over the years, the Olsen twins have eventually slowly and strategically removed themselves from the public eye. In a rare interview with the Financial Times in 2023, Mary-Kate and Ashley explained the reason behind their decision to step back from the public eye. The crux of this, according to Mary-Kate, is her frustration with how their story has often been told wrongly by the media, as well as the serious disservice of some of their most popular nicknames. Mary-Kate expressed her frustration over being continuously referred to as the Olsen twins, or the twins, at 37 years old. "We're 37 years old. We have had very interesting lives. "We work together. We're business partners. We're sisters," she said. She pointed out the irony of being labeled this way, particularly as designers, and how few others are called the girls in their professional endeavors. I think that's where the disappointment comes from, and that's why we feel like the product should just speak for itself. Reflecting on their journey, Mary-Kate added, "At 18, we decided to go to school and see what the world had to offer, and we started a company together in 2006 and have been in business for almost 20 years. She acknowledged the challenges they've faced. "I think everyone knows that this industry is extremely difficult, and we started with just the two of us, one step at a time. They have also made a conscious choice to avoid social media altogether." When asked about their decision to stay off social media, Mary-Kate explained, "There was a conversation. It wasn't very long, and it ended up working out quite well. Ashley and I are not on Instagram." She added with a touch of humor, "So that's the story of Instagram." But media scrutiny isn't the only challenge the twins faced. Around the time the countdown clocks began, Mary-Kate became the subject of rumors that she had a cocaine addiction due to her noticeably thin appearance and the media's persistent reports of her hard-partying lifestyle. Even her own family poked fun at her in an episode of Saturday Night Live skit, shouting at her, "You're so skinny, eat a sandwich." In truth, the child star was suffering from anorexia, a name for an eating disorder, and didn't get treatment until intervention from her father and therapist. Mary-Kate's therapist and father committed her to a treatment facility in Sundance, Utah, right after she graduated from high school and just before she started classes at New York University, which was in 2004. Unlike the popular story of many child stars, there wasn't a single dramatic incident like a DUI that triggered it. Instead, her situation had been slowly deteriorating for a long time. According to a report from People, Mary-Kate's family had initially tried to motivate her to eat following a minor car accident about a year and a half earlier. As part of their efforts, they confiscated her Range Rover, telling her that she needed to gain weight to get it back. Another source shared that they even hired someone to monitor her eating. At the time of the intervention, Mary-Kate was 17, meaning she had little choice in the matter as her parents were still her legal guardians. Despite the tough decision, she opted to continue outpatient treatment during her first semester at NYU. They were embroiled in controversies. The twins were also smeared with controversies. One such is Mary-Kate's tragic link to Heath Ledger's death. Mary-Kate has an extensive dating history, including artist Nate Lohman, Max Rinkler, who is the son of actor Henry Rinkler, and her ex-husband Olivier Sarkozy. But one of the more tragic and rumored relationships linked to Mary-Kate was with actor Heath Ledger. According to People, the two had been casually dating for 3 months at the time of Ledger's untimely death in 2008. Though their relationship wasn't exclusive, they were reportedly hooking up and shared common habits like smoking Marlboro Reds. The two reportedly met in the summer of 2006, when Ledger was 27 and Olsen was 20. The two went out for lunch with friends, and Ledger was reportedly charmed by Olsen throughout the meal. Mary-Kate made him laugh a lot, an eyewitness told People. They were all talking about scripts and telling funny stories about directors and people in the biz. Olsen and Ledger allegedly shared a passion for New York's nightlife, which brought them together. They had a bond that was based on partying, and they had the same tastes in partying. Like, in terms of where they liked to hang out in New York, what time they would want to go out, a source told People. They just had the same sensibility. Following Heath Ledger's tragic death in 2008, tabloid speculation intensified about his rumored romance with Mary-Kate Olsen. This came after a New York Times report revealed that Diana Wolozin, the masseuse who found Ledger unresponsive in his Manhattan apartment, made 3 phone calls to Mary-Kate before contacting 911 and 1 after calling them. Finding her number on Ledger's speed dial, Wolozin reached out to Olsen, who was in California at the time. Olsen allegedly said she'd send private security to Ledger's apartment to handle the situation. When Wolozin feared that Ledger might be dead, she made a second call to Mary-Kate before calling 911, though efforts to revive the actor were unsuccessful. With his death, one big question surfaced. Why did Wolozin call Olsen before 911? After his death, DEA investigators suspected that 2 painkillers found in Ledger's system, oxycodone and hydrocodone, were obtained illegally. Mary-Kate was immediately suspected by the authorities, but she refused to cooperate with investigators, claiming that she already told them everything she knew and that she had no involvement in the drugs that caused his overdose. She also wanted a promise of immunity from any future prosecution before speaking with the DEA. Although her lawyer released a statement clarifying that Olsen had nothing whatsoever to do with the drugs found in Ledger's home or his body, was unaware of where Ledger had obtained them, and that she had provided the government with all relevant information regarding the events surrounding Ledger's death, Mary-Kate's refusal to participate in an in-person interview with federal investigators fueled further speculation, leaving many wondering if there was more to the story. Shortly before Ledger's funeral, she released a statement through her publicist saying, "Heath was a friend. His death is a tragic loss. My thoughts are with his family." Amid the lingering questions surrounding Mary-Kate's possible connection to the events leading to Heath Ledger's tragic passing, a new twist emerged in 2012, linking the Olsen twins to another unfortunate incident. According to a report from the New York Daily News, Dale Ayrton, one of the bodyguards who arrived at the scene when Ledger was discovered deceased in 2008, found himself embroiled in legal trouble 4 years later. Ayrton was one of 14 men arrested in a human trafficking sting after attempting to solicit services from a prostitution ring in New York. During police questioning, Ayrton mentioned his work with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, claiming that he primarily worked for their company, Dual Star Entertainment Group. Despite being implicated in the solicitation case, Ayrton denied any involvement in illegal activities, asserting that someone else had used his phone to make the incriminating call. He stated, "I've been in Miami since March 2011. I occasionally let someone use my phone, but that hasn't happened since November 2011. Now, the legal outcome for Ayrton remains unclear, as no further information on his case has surfaced. Neither Mary-Kate or Ashley Olsen, nor their representatives, have publicly commented on the incident, leaving the matter shrouded in silence." Just a few years after being associated with a trafficking ring, the Olsen twins faced a dramatic legal dispute. In 2015, the Olsen twins faced a class action lawsuit filed in Manhattan Supreme Court, which alleged that they had failed to pay 40 former and current interns. The lead plaintiff, Shahista Lalani, a Parsons New School for Design graduate, claimed that during her 2012 internship with the twins company, Dual Star Entertainment Group, she worked grueling 50-hour weeks for no pay or college credit. Lalani's duties included data entry, running personal errands for employees, organizing materials, photocopying, sewing, and pattern cutting. Despite the heavy workload, she alleged that she received no compensation for her labor, leading to the lawsuit. Shahista Lalani also claimed that the job's extreme demands caused her to be hospitalized for dehydration, recounting a particular incident where she had to carry heavy trench coats in the scorching heat. "It was like 100 degrees outside. I'd just be sweating to death. I probably carried like 50 pounds worth of trench coats to row factories." Lalani also alleged that during her time as an intern for Dual Star, she was tasked with responding to late-night emails and completing mundane tasks, such as color coordinating large quantities of buttons. She claimed that much of this work was done during downtime, and often under the supervision of demanding bosses, adding to the stressful work environment. "You're like an employee, except you're not getting paid. They're kind of mean to you. Other interns have cried. I'd see a lot of kids crying doing coffee runs, photocopying stuff," Lalani said in an interview with Page 6. The lawsuit further alleged that many other interns were in a similar position, performing tasks equivalent to those of paid employees, but without receiving any compensation or academic credit. The plaintiffs argued that these interns should have been compensated at least the minimum wage plus overtime for the work they were doing. Dual Star Entertainment Group initially dismissed the claims as groundless when the lawsuit was filed. However, the company eventually agreed to a settlement of $140,000 to be distributed among 185 interns. In March 2020, the Olsen twins found themselves entangled in another legal drama, this time with David Schulte, Ashley's ex-boyfriend. Schulte has served as an executive for the twins' fashion house, The Row, for 3 years before filing a lawsuit against Dual Star Entertainment Group, the parent company of the fashion house, The details of the lawsuit were kept sealed, leaving the specific grievances unclear. Interestingly, Schultz had resigned from his role at the Row just months earlier, in October 2019, without explaining. Ashley and David Schultz had dated 2 years before his appointment as an executive at the Row, meaning that their personal history likely had no direct connection to his resignation or the legal dispute that followed. The lack of public statements from either party only increased the speculation, as the case resolution remains unknown. The Olsen twins found themselves making headlines once again in 2020 after Mary-Kate's dramatic divorce from her high-profile marriage to French banker Olivier Sarkozy. When Mary-Kate Olsen and Olivier Sarkozy began dating in 2012, they kept their relationship remarkably private throughout their 8 years together. Fans had limited insight into their dynamic due to the couple's absence from tabloids and social media. The pair reportedly met at a party in 2012 and quickly developed an instant connection. According to an Entertainment Tonight source, Mary-Kate, who was 33 at the time, was drawn to Olivier Sarkozy's outgoing personality and charm. Despite their 17-year age difference, their chemistry was undeniable, and they soon became a solid, if somewhat private, couple in the public eye. Their early dates were filled with intimate and luxurious activities, like midnight dinners at Nobu and horseback riding in the Hamptons, according to the source. They're both very driven, intelligent, and hard-working, so there was definitely mutual respect there, the source added. In March 2014, a report surfaced that Mary-Kate was engaged to Olivier Sarkozy after she was spotted wearing a massive ring on her left hand while out in New York City. The couple enjoyed their engagement privately, spending a few weeks in Jamaica before the news became public. A source told People at the time that they had been engaged for a bit before the announcement. In 2015, the couple officially tied the knot in a low-key party attended by about 50 guests. Olsen's on-screen dad and Full House co-star Bob Saget confirmed the news during an appearance on The Today Show. "I was not invited, but I'm very happy and I sent a Mazel Tov text," Saget said. "I'm very happy. I love her very much. I hope they're happy." 2 years after the marriage, Mary-Kate opened up about how she balances work and life with her husband and her 2 stepchildren in a rare interview with Net-a-Porter's Porter magazine. "I have a husband, 2 stepkids and a life. I have to go home and cook dinner," she said. On November 7, 2017, the couple's affection for each other was on full display at the Mini Muse blog relaunch in New York City. Olsen and Sarkozy, known for their privacy, surprised attendees with their playful demeanor, posing for cute cuddly photos and even sharing smiles for the cameras. Despite the love between them, the couple underwent a divorce in 2020 after several attempts which were complicated by the coronavirus. According to Page 6, their relationship was altered by coronavirus from the onset of the pandemic. Mary-Kate reportedly chose to end their marriage after Sarkozy suggested that his ex-wife, Charlotte Bernard, move into their $5 million Bridgehampton home. Concerned for their family's safety amid the COVID-19 crisis, Sarkozy wanted to bring his ex-wife, their children, and his mother from New York City to the country house. Olivier was concerned for the safety of his family in New York during the pandemic. He insisted to Mary-Kate that he wanted to bring his ex-wife, their kids, and his mother from the city to their Bridgehampton home. A source told the outlet. Maybe French people culturally have a different view of marriage, and while Mary-Kate loves his children, it was too much to have his ex-wife living with them during the pandemic. But if you thought the Olsen twins story was intense, you won't believe what Christopher Reeve's son has finally revealed after years of silence. At 32, he confirms the shocking rumors that have been circulating for years. Click on the video appearing on the screen right now to find out the truth behind this long-kept secret. You don't want to miss it. Let's know your thoughts on it in the comment section. I will see you in the next video.